Anyone else ever crawled into a bookshelf? No, just me? I'm not one for ranking the episodes of MLP with scores of 10, or putting my lists into favourites and such, because I like to judge the show as a whole. I like to think of episodes as little pieces of one big thing that I like, which is why when stuff doesn't add up between episodes, it irks me. It irks! But if I were ever to do a list, this episode would be way up here. Yes. I love it. It's a character-focused episode with enough characters to keep it interesting without laying any of them by the wayside as a passenger with nothing to say. I was getting tired of having all the main six in the previous episodes, because it leads to either a distraction from the featured characters, or they just end up doing nothing in the background, adding nothing to the experience, occasionally cracking a joke to remind us that they're still there, but really they don't need to be. Anybody notice that Flight to the Finish was such a great episode, and the only characters that we saw were the important ones? The Kmuk, Dit, S, and Rud. The rest of the main six weren't important to the story there, so they weren't present, and the episode had more time to spend being a good episode. So here, we have Pinkie, AJ, Granny Smith, Apple Bloom, Big Mac, and to a lesser extent Twilight, Spike, and Golden Delicious. And not one of these characters is over or underused. Even that short bit with Twilight and Spike at the beginning was perfectly handled. They get the ball rolling in a few short seconds, and then they're gone. They didn't overstay their welcome. They were in the episode for exactly the right amount of time. You may be thinking, well, so what? Twilight and Spike got minimal screen time? I don't get what you're getting at here. What I'm getting at is that the pacing in this episode is impeccable. We get the premise set up before the opening. I love it when that happens. Then Pinkie and the Apple family are going apeshit with happiness, and by the 4-minute mark we've got a conflict in the form of some smudged wording, possibly making the alleged lineage between the two families null and void, and a plan to go find someone who can help find out if it's true. And they're off, on a road trip of sing-song shenanigans for the rest of the episode. The thing that works best in this episode's favour is the fact that it's a slice-of-life episode, and the conflict is so minor you could hardly call it a conflict. I mean, what are the possible outcomes? If Pinkie turns out to be one of the Apple family, not much will change. She'll be in the next Apple family reunion, along with her parents and sisters, but normal life won't change much. Pinkie and AJ are already good friends, so they see each other a lot, and I don't see AJ forcing Pinkie to help buck apples on the farm from then on. Especially since we've seen she doesn't quite have the legs for it, and if Pinkie turns out to not be an apple, then life will return to normal anyway. There's nothing at stake. It's just an episode about a road/river trip. And because there's nothing at stake, the episode has plenty of time to incorporate everything you could possibly desire from an episode, without ever feeling rushed. The characters all have purpose, they all feel important, the interaction between them feels natural, and the comedy timing is impeccable. It's so good. I found myself laughing out loud on multiple occasions, which is unusual because for most other episodes I'm like, I have seen that you have made a joke. I acknowledge it as funny, and I shall now internally chuckle, showing no outward emotion on my face whatsoever. But here it's like, ha-ha, ho-ho, hee-hee, no, I can't fake laugh, but you get my point. I mean, look at this duck. See, he's already funny because he's laughing at them because they lost their wheel. I mean, it's kind of absurd. Why is he laughing at them? Ducks don't laugh. What is he so happy about? Does he just delight in the misfortune of others? What a dick. Why does he put the wheel around his neck as if he wants it for something? What could he possibly need a wooden wheel for? But before you even have time to think about this strange duck, a fucking eagle swoops down and carries him away. Holy shit! Do eagles eat ducks? I didn't know that. Or did he want the wheel? Why all these birds be wanting wheels for? Are they building something? Is this another cliffhanger? Last episodes we get a hammock, and a sharp tooth, and a yellow eyes, and a clump of Rainbow's pubic hair, but now we got Wheelbird. I hope Wheelbird is not going to be a loose end this time. Wait a minute. That's the eagle that Rainbow Dash would have had, if not for Tank the tortoise. Oh no. This must be foreshadowing for his revenge. He's taken the wheel so he can build a bird-powered tank of his own, and he's gonna come back and crush Rainbow Dash in the season finale. Oh my god! Hashtag oh dear. Hashtag Wheelbird. Fuck. Don't hashtag that. Anyway, the comedy in this episode is sublime. It's hard to pick just one instance of gold over all the others. I guess I'll leave that to the matching ties. He's gonna have a fucking field day with this episode. Now, you know how earlier I was saying none of the characters in this episode feel over or underused? Well, let's talk about Big Mac. I've never felt like Big Mac was an interesting character. I'm sorry to all the people who enjoy him, I just haven't. He's usually there for his little yup or nope or words to that effect. He's a catchphrase character, and I guess people like him for that, but I've never really considered him noteworthy until this point. Because here we see him emote, more so than usual. You get a better sense of his relationship with Applejack when he's getting more frustrated as she's nagging him about the cart. Him seeming to emote more is a sign of him having a soul.
Teachers have souls!
And I love it. Big Mac's cool now, I like him. In fact, I think the character interaction between the apples in this episode is some of the best yet. And speaking of good character, look at Golden Delicious. Or Goldie Delicious. What is her name? I don't know. This is what I mean when I say impeccable pacing. We arrive at the end of the journey with enough time to introduce a brand new character and give her some funny quirks and mannerisms. We get a sense of what sort of character she is from her house with the crazy cats and the fucking... is that a leopard? And she's a hoarder, and as a hoarder, she's clearly the type of pony who would keep a complete history of the Apple family lying around. And, whoa. The Dusty Cat? Anyway, we have her do what they came here to have her to do, and they say goodbye, and they still have time for a reprisal of the song, and a scene with the journal before the episode ends, and it doesn't feel like we skimmed over Golden Delicious at all. It's just so well paced. Everything's so, it's good. I have to say though, there was one thing I wasn't really that keen on. Pinkie Pie and her fourth wall breaks. They seem a little obvious this time. I could swear they used to be more subtle, but now they're not even trying to hide them. I wouldn't really mind if it didn't happen so many times in the episode. What was it, like 4 times? She looks directly at us, maybe more. Little overkill for me. Oh, and at the end, when they find out the book Golden has is also smudged, that's kinda contrived. You could have had the page ripped or something. Although that would just lead to more questions like, where'd that page go? So I suppose that's not the best way to deal with it. But I'm nitpickling. I still love this episode. Now, about the song. It's a hard choice, but I think it's better than Hearts as Strong as Horses. If only because in Hearts as Strong as Horses, the song is pointless in terms of what happens in the background and ends up eating away at the episode, leaving less time for more important things like Scootaloo. And the stuff that happens in the background of this song is great. I mean, look at that apple. That's some pretty fertile ground. Why didn't you build an orchard here? AG, why'd you rip the map? AG, you kinda need that. You kinda need it. You're gonna regret not having a map, you know. The Apple family's favourite drink is water with an apple in it? Yeah, why not? I'll buy it. Oh, she threw a sink. That's a pun. All these jokes. There's too many to comment on. It's just relentless. It's the sort of episode that gets you laughing and keeps you smiling till the end. Never a dull moment. It's full of comedy gold. It's engaging. It's impressive. It's astounding. It's fantastic. It's a miracle. It's alive. It's a me, Mario. My favourite episode.